Hello, everyone. This is John Muntz with Dealer's Edge. I want to welcome you all to our ongoing series of workshop summaries where we take one of our full-length online workshops and produce a shortened video summary of the material provided. We typically host 3 to 4 full-length webinars a month that usually run about an hour's time. In case you haven't heard of us, Dealer's Edge is a firm dedicated to informing dealers and dealership management on topics relevant to your bottom line. We are always producing new content via our online workshops, webinars, manuals, books, and summary. For this summary, we are talking about dealership pay plans with a legend of the industry, Jeff Sachs. Dealer's Edge members have access to the full 1-hour workshop as well as the executive summary in PDF format, which is what is being read here, not to mention hundreds of other topics targeted to dealership owners and managers. Rob Keeley, an industry expert himself, wrote the summary, and the narration is done by Darius Jackson. All relevant links will be in the description below. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to stay informed of new releases. So, all that aside, let's get into it.
Dealer's Edge Workshop Executive Summary: Effective Pay Plan Formulas that Achieve Results. It's no surprise that pay plans influence behavior, and we see this validated every day in the car business. With the right incentives, sales get sold, customers stay happy, and life is good. But what happens when dealership goals don't align with employee goals? Sometimes the result is not pretty. So what's a manager to do to ensure that employees are working in the dealership's interest? What attributes do effective pay plans that link personnel from various departments as a cohesive unit share? Equally important is how can they be constructed to overcome interdepartmental rivalry and vertical thinking to achieve the common goal of keeping customers coming back. Jeff Sachs, president of Jeff Sachs & Associates, joined us for an online workshop to share his thoughts on new pay plan formulas that drive growth. Jeff is a recognized expert in dealership management and during his 30-year career has helped clients the world over. He is a sought-after speaker, a prolific writer, and created the popular General Manager's Bootcamp. In February 2011, he published a comprehensive pay plan manual with 100-plus pay plan components titled Dealership Pay Plans That Work. This report is a summary of Jeff's comments and suggestions. Because labor is generally the largest cost of any business, it is important that compensation be designed to get the most bang for the buck. Sadly, this is not always the case, and while the reasons vary, they mostly boil down to a mismatch between desired behaviors and those that are encouraged by the pay plan. Pay plan structure and design. While there are a number of considerations that go into pay plans, the most common are a combination of base compensation, a commission or other incentive, additional components such as CSI, gross per unit, etc., which are then adjusted to yield the compensation target. Pay plans are typically based on activities or metrics or some combination of the two. Activity-based pay plans isolate elements that correlate well with sales success and reward those behaviors. Activities are generally task-based and require strong tracking and measurement process. This process helps build habits that lead to success, as well as identifying weak links in the process chain. For example, if demo drives are determined to correlate to successfully selling vehicles, then the activity-based plan would track and reward demo drives to encourage that behavior. Other examples of activities that correlate well with sales: service. Multi-point usage correlates to more additional service requests, which correlates to more sales presentations, which correlates to more sales. Thus, incentivizing multi-point usage should result in more sales. Service menus presented. Sales, BDC, service. Appointment setting. First appointments made result in first appointments kept, and more customers who continue to return for maintenance. Next service appointments made result in more customers who develop the habit of using the dealership for maintenance and becoming loyal customers. Sales, BDC. Show rates. Internet. Percentage engaged in two-way dialogue with internet leads, which leads to appointments, then to appointments kept, and then to a sale. Metric-based pay plans isolate financial drivers and calculate pay on both the metric achieved and results. The metric goal is normally governed by key business drivers, such as ROs written, hours per RO, hours produced, etc. Isolate these financial drivers. Create a pay plan that encompasses these drivers. When creating pay plans, there are 4 essential elements to design and structure. 1. Take home is competitive in the marketplace, both from the position of the dealership and to the individual. Competitive compensation encourages staff retention. However, if coupled to modest productivity metrics, could lead to high and out-of-line compensation as percentage of gross, acceptance of lower standards of performance, tough to change to a high-performance culture. As performance improves, it will increase compensation and will be out of line with the market. The objective is to first get productivity metrics in line and then to pay off production. Strategy: transition and evolve into a higher pay-for-performance model. Jeff recommends being upfront with the affected staff and working out timelines to reach acceptable performance levels. This may involve guarantees, parallel pay plans, or other compensation supports during the transition. 2. Is aligned with the dealership objectives and culture. Production of gross. Improving customer retention. Raising CSI. Other measurements, such as asset management, such as used inventory under 60 days, expense control, for example, the pay plan could be based on gross after expenses, employee satisfaction. 3. It uses credible data. Financial data should be easy to understand, unambiguous, and accessible. Gross, variable expenses, net profit. Other metrics that could be incorporated and can be effective in changing behavior are OEM data, retention data, first maintenance service, internally generated data such as repeat purchases, service retention, etc. Jeff cautions that to be effective, the employee must be able to influence the metric. Otherwise, it causes apathy or hostility towards the veracity of the plan. 4. It is uncomplicated and easy to understand. Keep it simple. Not too many components to confuse or conflict with dealership goals or calculations. Avoids pay plan management. Most pay plans can be worked. Be careful. Have checks and balances in place to prevent people from trying to game the system for personal gain. Pay plan examples. Production of gross, variable salespeople. Objective: 12 or more units per salesperson with adequate front and back end gross. Challenges: margin compensation leads to many deals. Consider paying off the true vehicle gross. It's transparent, no pack or holdback, avoids having to manage the inflection points, for example, the point at which the salesperson shifts from trying to hold gross to working the volume bonus. Retroactive pay plans. This month's volume leads to next month's compensation percentage. Helps to reduce sandbagging sales on an off month. Loyalty. Pay additional bonus for sales made to repeat customers of the salesperson. Consider variable linked pay plans for salespeople. Front end and back end grosses. Make salespeople advocates of F&I and accessory sales. Aftermarket accessory sales made at the time of delivery pay a percentage of the sales price. This is an untapped profit center, similar to F&I was in the 1970s. Spiff on first-time show rates in the service department. Some dealers have made setting and following up with the first service appointment a job requirement for the salesperson. Appraised purchase units in the service department. Production of gross, F&I. Objective: 75 deals per producer, over $1,100 per unit. Closed 2 products per delivery, PPD. This could be a metric for an activity-based pay plan. Bias towards service, including products. 70% product, 30% rate. Compensation, 15% of F&I income, if at 75 deals and $1,100 per unit. Consider paying off. Traditional percent of gross after chargebacks. Products per delivery attainment level. Penetration levels on extended service contracts, oil changes for life, service maintenance contracts, etc. Conversion of sales to service, salespeople. Objective: actively set up the first service appointment at the time of the sale. Improve service retention and then appraisal activity. The goal is to get that customer in the habit of using the dealership for their maintenance and then to trade that vehicle, starting the cycle over. Consider spiff if salesperson's customer show rate for first service appointment is above 80%. $5 spiff for the first service visit, $10 for the second, $15 for the third. The goal is to get that customer in the habit of using their dealership for their maintenance. The salesperson has a vested interest in keeping in touch with their customers and building a relationship. Commission on gross generated by their customer's CP service business. The goal is to pay a small commission to the salesperson so that they have a vested interest in their customers using the dealership for maintenance. As the salesperson's customer base grows, so does the commission, making it more difficult for that salesperson to leave the dealership. The DMS can organize CP activity by salesperson for ease of tracking. Appointments kept spiff. Active appraisal activity. Jeff makes the case that since retained customers are more profitable than new customers who have no prior relationship with the dealer, it makes sense to tie compensation to retention. When OEM data is available, it should be used because of its higher credibility factor. One client sets his benchmarks at 95% first appointments made and 80% kept, and as his sales staff become more involved, his penetration improved. This also proved to be an effective coaching tool for poor performers. The reward for success is illustrated in these two graphs. Just as maintenance per vehicle starts to increase, customers begin to defect. When salespeople are paid on the revenue stream, they actively engage their customers and increase retention, profitability, and margins. Service Manager. Objective: improve profitability, CSI, and grow the business. Need to improve customer retention. Consider paying off total hours produced, not hours per RO. Hours per RO can be gamed, not always to the dealership's benefit. Bonus if average hours produced per tech per month exceeds 180 hours. 8+ hours times 22 workdays. The goal is to move the current tech production to the benchmark defined by the dealership. Data from the OEM that addresses customer retention. Is it usable? Any credible internally generated metrics? Gross per service employee. This is a cost containment tool and forces the manager to use staff efficiently and effectively. Percent increase in year-over-year CP repair orders. This encourages traffic building activities such as setting and following up on next maintenance appointments, first appointments, etc. This can be gamed and requires close tracking. CSI bonus based on attaining certain performance levels. Service Advisor. Objective: attain monthly productivity objective, the ratio of techs to service advisors times tech production benchmark. For example, 3 techs times 180 hours a month equals 540 hours per advisor. 30,000 of CP labor per month. Acceptable daily mix of CP, W, I, ROs. Consider paying off hours produced. Effective retail sales achieved. Service advisor team bonus for hitting the total shop labor hours goal. To encourage cooperation between advisors. Department net profit. General manager. Base. Percentage of dealership net profit. Consider adding a CSI component. Consider including gross per employee. The higher the gross per employee, the lower the relative cost per employee. Fixed service absorption. Addresses expense control. During the Q&A, the following questions were raised. What is the percentage of gross that different positions should absorb, and how do we know if we're market competitive? Gross percent per position varies by franchise. However, NADA offers pay plan studies by position and by market. Also, simply calling other dealers in your area and asking them what they pay is a way to learn if you are competitive. Other resources are P&S clubs, etc. What employees tell you when they quit, or if prospective employees turn you down, may shed some light. On the other hand, if employees never quit, it may be an indication that you're too generous. What is his opinion of paying weekly or bi-weekly? Jeff likes it. The closer the reward is to the activity, the greater the impact. Why pay on hours and not gross? Hours lead to gross and are an activity that can be easily tracked in almost real time. Should quick lane hours be included when calculating hours per tech? Yes. However, QL production tends to be 75% of the main shop due to the available work mix. How many elements make a pay plan too complicated? Generally, 3 or 4 elements appear to be the optimum number. More than that can lead to confusion and apathy. He is not a fan of negative pay plans, however. If structured as a reserve, may be useful. In conclusion, Jeff stresses the truism that since pay plans drive performance, aligning compensation to dealership goals contributes to overall profitability. Incentivizing activities that have a history of contributing to sales and retention is an effective way to develop habits critical for success. Benchmarking metrics helps to hold staff accountable. Jeff invites comments and questions, as well as visiting him on the web to explore other useful resources.
Okay, that's going to do it. Again, this was just a summary of the material provided. The full workshop goes into much more detail. Please check out Jeff Sachs at jeffsaxauto.com, and Jeff's pay plan manual can be purchased via the link in the description. Our writer Rob Keeley's information can be found at fixedsolutions360.com, and to looking to becoming a Dealer's Edge member, it's dealersedge.com/VIP. All links are in the description. Please don't forget to subscribe as we have many more summaries on the way. This is John Mutz with Dealer's Edge saying goodbye for now.